So I've been hearing reports about how modern men's testosterone levels have been on the decline since about the 1980s. There have been many studies about this, and by now they should be empirically bulletproof. And so today, I don't want to be beating a dead horse by talking about the problem with declining testosterone levels, because I mean that's been pretty much covered by so many other people and podcasts. But what I want to do is to synthesize this topic with regards to the modern church. Testosterone, it's a male hormone, obviously. It dictates people's motivation, their drive, their sex drive, obviously, and their sense of purpose. It's just a benefactor of living life to its fullest, in my opinion. And so what I noticed in the modern church these days, in like small groups, Christian circles, message boards, podcasts, whatever, I just noticed that so many guys, they complain about what their purpose is in life. Why can't they find their purpose or their mission? Why do they feel so weak or exhausted all the time? Why can't they find the love of their life? Why can't they do this? Why can't they do that? And whatnot. And it seems to be that the problem with this isn't just spiritual, or at least they don't look at it in multiple dimensions. I think also they don't regard the idea of how the human body is intimately related to the mental health as well as spiritual health, because the Bible does talk about how the body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. Maintaining the temple, it's extremely important. I think with the way that we're eating so many processed foods these days, the GMOs, all these genetically modified organisms, and how they're being mutated into like these very artificial, very plastic type of foods that we are exposed to on such a daily basis. And so the men in the church, they exalt these classical, archetypical topics such as leadership, hierarchy, and on the flip side of it, there could be also manipulation too. That's like the dark side of like the strong masculine frame that could be implemented in the church. When you have a group of weaker men collectively together, mentally, physically, like with the same goal, with the same mission, but if they're weaker or more passive-minded, what's going to happen? They're going to attract more bad situations that are going to slow down spiritual growth, not just amongst themselves, but with other people. They're going to attract more situations with bitterness, lethargy, lack of motivation to serve. They're going to attract more strife because their bodies are not going to be as well maintained as the way that God intended us to have. God intended us to be healthy. Like when God created Adam and Eve, he created us to be super healthy and eat natural foods. Obviously that's what they had back then. And so now we're like in this modern culture of like such convenience. We have such easy access to all this processed food, and so it just seems to downplay the potential that our human bodies have. With these declining testosterone levels, I believe that modern men, especially in the church, they're becoming more weaker, passive. They're becoming more prone to sinful behavior because their bodies and minds are not right. And so the devil's going to try to use every tactic in his book to infiltrate that kind of mentality. And so I think this was done by design. I think one of Satan's secret tactics that the church really doesn't address is the attack on people's health, on nutrition, on the basic elements that our bodies need, and how deprived we are. We're overfed, but we're undernourished. So Satan wants to attack us in every way possible, not just in the dimensions of sin. We keep hearing topics in the church regarding about sin, about infidelity, how so many of these high-profile pastors have been, unfaithful to their wives, and how some of the other ones, they squandered money or, stuff like that. But how come we don't address issues about health and fitness, about, these issues that are like the fundamental building blocks of our bodies, of our temples, of the Holy Spirit? So I think that's really something that needs to be addressed. It really pisses me off how so many Christians, they try to tell me that it's not important about being physically fit or healthy. It's not important about trying to be the strongest, most masculine. None of that stuff's important. It's all about Jesus. It's all about being subservient to the man, being subservient to the government, be passive, be weak, and let God take care of everything. I think, and that's the message that I'm getting from so many Christians. And I think men with their lower testosterone levels, with their declining energy levels, it's like they're just succumbing to all these things because they don't have that upper frame. They don't have that upper hand because they're being manipulated on so many different levels. They're being manipulated on spiritual level from manipulative preachers. They could be manipulated by their wives easier, which is happening so rampantly too. They're being manipulated physically too by their lower energy levels and their less of a willingness to lead. And so I think that's it's a huge problem, and it really angers me because it's so hard to find high energy, driven, masculine, motivated guys in the church. It's hard to find that, and I really have a problem with that. My solution is to have more focus on men's groups. Here's the other problem that I have too, is there's more men leaving the church than ever. What's the ratio these days of like women to men? It's so disproportionate. The average of churchgoers is like 60% women and 40% men. That's like the average nationwide church attendance. And I can see why. My solution is to have more men's groups, higher emphasis on that. Have more seminars. You know how churches have seminars like during the middle of the week, like for finance, for single mothers, for like addiction treatment, which is awesome. I'm glad we have those, but how come we don't have seminars on men's self-improvement regarding various topics, health, fitness, fasting, being a leader, being a man in the family, being a man at work, being shrewd, being clever, and being wise as a serpent but gentle as a dove? How come we don't talk about that? Being wise as serpents. Especially the bigger churches who could afford this, they should have partnerships with groups that are like trying to uphold the virtues of health and fitness. Partner with health and fitness and wellness groups. I mean, there's so many different fasting clinics. There's so many different like naturopathic clinics that are not necessarily Christian. Like some of them have all these esoteric, new agey practice beliefs or whatever, like grading your chakras, doing yoga, therapy, like whatever, all those health centers. Why can't churches have some of those Christian health centers? Why can't they do that? I'll jump on board with that. And if you guys know anything like that, hit me up. So raising awareness of testosterone and how important of a hormone that is, and how like fitness and nutrition are just so intimately connected with how God created us to begin with. So these are my thoughts. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.